everybody, welcome to TrainWorldTV. Now, if you're in the market for a DCC starter set, look no further than the Digitrax Zephyr Express 3 amp starter set. Today we're going to be taking a look at what this DCC system can do for you in a new, small to medium sized layout. We'll see what you get in the box starting now here on TrainWorldTV. Alright, so here we have the box, and just so you know, I have no experience with Digitrax whatsoever, so you will be able to set this up if I can set this up for sure. So we're going to reposition the box here so we can open it up. And the lid pops open like that. Inside, Zephyr Express Quick Start Guide, which, trust me, I will be using. But in case you want an overlay, sometimes people lose their instructions and such, I will zoom out so you can see what you get. And as you can see here, it is pretty detailed, going over how to set up the system. Doesn't look complicated at all, kind of puts me at ease already. So we'll see what's in the box here. Now, right away, there's a Digitrax decoder and LocoNet cable tester. Don't know if that was added extra or if that goes with this. Oh, yep, there it is. It goes with the system. I can see on the starter guide here. System itself, control to the system. There, you see there. A little bit of air cushion to protect everything. A PS314 50 watt AC DC power adapter. Now this is a 3 amp system, so for those of you who are new to the hobby, you might want to research how many locomotives per layout and layout size can handle what amperage. There's also a control starter set manual and a mobile and sound decoder manual, second edition. It actually is for all the sound decoders, so that's handy as well. Nicely bound. And that's the end of the box there, so we'll put the box aside. And all I'm going to do is walk through the steps that are essentially on the Quick Start Guide, and then we'll do a little bit of a review of the actual system. So we're going to look at this Quick Start Guide a little closer. Pardon my ugly green cup there. But you unpack it. Step 1, before you begin. Step 2, you're going to make sure the throttle knob is turned all the way to stop, which it is. And the direction brake lever is set to brake, which it is not. So I'll move that to brake there. That's step 2. Step 3, on the back of the DC S52, locate the gray terminal strip. On the strip, locate the 2 terminals labeled Rail A and Rail B. So we'll do that real quick. And you see on the far left, there is Rail A and Rail B. You're going to connect wires for the track to these terminals, one for each rail. It doesn't matter which rail is connected to which terminal. So we'll do that in a moment. We're also going to connect the PS314 AC-DC adapter to the plug right here where my thumb is. And then you're going to turn on track power. So let's go ahead and do those steps and I'll be right back. Now, putting in the power adapter is as simple as that. And then on the other end you have this separate plug that goes into this end of the power adapter. And then you're ready to apply power after hooking up the track to rail A and B. Now on the underside of this connector, there are flathead screws. So we're going to loosen those up. You want those as loose as possible without going too overboard for rail A and rail B, because it kind of clamps down. Now, if you just have a test track, you can use these alligator clamps here. I've exposed the wire on the ends. You want to obviously do that. You don't want to just plug in insulation or you're not going to get any connection. But we're going to plug that in. And we're going to screw down until you feel it cinch, and then you give it a little tug, and it shows that the wire is securely in the receptacle here. Now this receptacle doesn't appear to want to take the wire, so you may have to back it out a little more. And then you can cinch that one down as well. And now give them both a tug and they should be good to go. Now that I have both track wires running to the track on alligator clamps, I can simply plug this in. And you see the startup screen DCS52. And it goes to default of address 3, which is what most locomotives come factory out of the box in. I'm going to go ahead and place this adapter out of the way slightly so we can see this a little better. Everything is powered on, and believe it or not, we do have a locomotive on the track just to make sure this is working right, because this is also not only a setup and an introduction to DCC with this system, but it's also a review. So step 4 was turn on track power. Obviously, having it hooked up to track, you want to look for the track status light that's green there, and if that's on, it looks like you're good to go. And then it says you can select and run locomotives. To run non-DCC locomotives, which is not what we have on the track right now, you're going to hit this locomotive button on the far left here, far upper left. Once you hit that locomotive key, you press it once, then you enter 00 on the keypad, and then you press loco once again, and that button is the locomotive button. So if you see any of the manual refer to the locomotive button, that is what it is. And then you can run the locomotive forward and reverse in DC, no problem, because it's a DC and DCC system. Now, to select and run DCC locomotives, which is what we have here, they usually have their address set to 3, which they do. And to run a DCC equipped locomotive, you must know the address. So, brand new out of the box, addresses are 3. You can program addresses and such on different DCC systems, and we'll get into that later when we look at the manual for some highlights. To run the locomotive, move the direction brake lever to either forward or reverse, depending on which way you want the locomotive to move, and then slowly turn the throttle. So, we got address 3. Alright, everything is set up, and just so you know, if you dim the lights, this is nicely backlit as well. You can see all the buttons backlit. As we were talking about, we're in DCC mode. I just had to reassure all the connections were correct, and I didn't have one of the correct connections done properly, so the locomotive didn't move. But essentially, this is an address 3 locomotive. Now, the decoder on this locomotive requires F8 to start, so we're going to do that real quick. And just so you can see, just out of view here, is that locomotive. Now we selected forward. You can select forward or reverse, wherever you want to go. And we start to turn the knob, and the locomotive moves. I can hit brake and it will stop the locomotive. Go back to forward and it will resume. So just like that, in a matter of minutes, we are set up to run on this system. It took me a matter of minutes to set this up. And then that is how you set it up. So that's essentially the end of the quick start guide, the Zephyr Express quick start guide that's included. And then you can actually start looking at the Digitrax Complete Train Control Starter Set Manual. I'm going to pick a few gems out of here so you know some of the features of this set. But the first thing we're going to talk about is changing the address. Obviously, not every locomotive you're going to have is an address 3. So to change it, you hit the locomotive button, it'll start flashing, and then you can enter the address, say 844. Once it's hit, you hit the locomotive key in the top left again, and then that locomotive is suggested, or it's set to the system. Now let's go back to 3 here, because I want to show you something. There are MU options, recall options, and more in these soft keys here. You can dispatch, edit, etc. So lots of options, but to get out of there and set that locomotive, it is loco, enter the number, loco, and we're good to go. Now, emergency situations occur on your layout, and sometimes you have to stop things very quickly, and that's an emergency stop function. Hitting just the power button and this back button combined in one button will stop everything on your layout and keep a lot of damage from occurring if you have a non-responsive decoder or another issue. Now, as you can see, there's only 9 numbers on this pad, so how do the functions work? Well, 1 through 9 is very easy. On this soft key here, you see function plus 00. So now you can hit any function 1 through 9. So there's 1. There's 2. But say you want to do 11 or 12 or even 20 something. You're going to hit this function soft key, and now it's function plus 10. That means when I hit 1, that's 11. Sounds like that is maybe doing some prime mover sounds there. So that is 11, 20 something. Get some other sounds. So that is how you operate functions all the way up to technically 29 on this locomotive. Now you may ask yourself, can you MU locomotives together in the DCS52? And the answer is yes. You want to choose the 2 locomotives you want to MU together, place them on the track, and make sure that both locomotives will be part of the MU, running in the same physical direction. Select and run the first locomotive to determine which way it is headed. Then select the other locomotive and run it in the same physical direction. Select the address you want to use to control the MU. This is called the top address. To do this, you're pressing the loco key. I really don't want to do it to this one, but I'll go through the dry steps here. Loco key, enter the address, and then press the loco key again. Press the loco key once to enter the loco selection made. The large numbers in the loco area will begin to blink gray. Soft keys will also change to give you options MU, recall, and more. Press the soft key labeled MU. That will enter MU mode. Now, as you can see, MU is popping up right there. That's what allows you to enter MU mode. After you enter it, enter that mode, the display will show the top address. Below the now blinking loco address number, it will say consist 2, and then the top loco's address. Use the keypad, enter the locomotive's address you wish to add to the consist, press the soft key now labeled MU+. You will exit MU, and the top locomotive will remain selected on the throttle. To add additional locos, you can repeat those steps. That's how you MU a locomotive, just kind of the dry run. I don't have 2 locomotives here to MU to show you right now, but it does allow for MU. Now, one other thing I want to show you, and in order to do so, I'm going to disconnect these alligator clamps. But you can also program, you can have a dedicated programming track so you can change your locomotive numbers. As you see, program A and program B. Now these would go to the same set of rails, one to one rail, one to the other, and then you have a program track, and then you have a programming mode that you would use on this to do so. Now there's also programming on the main line. It lets you program CVs in the DCC locomotive equipped with extended packet format decoders, which is most of them these days. And in order to do so, you're going to do so in operations modes to change the CV value. So you make sure the locomotive you want to program is on the main line. In this case, we are set up for mainline operations. And they're connected to the Rail A and Rail B terminals, which is the mainline operation. Select the locomotive on your DCS52 that you want to program. So right now we've got locomotive 3 already selected. To enter CV programmer, you're going to hit the menu key. The menu key is right here. So I hit that, and now I get a list of options. Main menu A will display giving you a list of menu options. Select 2, which is CV Programmer, by pressing the 2 on the keypad. As you can see, that's corresponding with that list right there. And then once you hit that button, you will be presented with CV Program menu A. From this menu, press 1 to select operations on the main line, PO, ops main on main line there. Okay. In addition to PO ops on mainline, the display will also show ops program ADR, followed by the address you'll be programming on the mainline. This information will be listed above. Entries for CV number and CV data. So CV number and the number of the CV you're changing is what you need. CV data is the value that you're programming CV number to. To change the CV number, you're editing, press the soft key CV number. Okay, so as you can see, there's CV number down there. That'll be like, say you're programming 8 to 8. So you're going to hit this, and then you're going to put in 8. And then you're going to hit that again. Once you have the CV number selected, you press the B software key CV data, tongue twister, and then it's going to switch to this, and then you put in the data. So if I'm changing CV 8 to 8, I hit this, 008, and then I hit data, 008. Then you press the soft key Wright after you've done that, which will pop up below, and the soft key back to exit the menu. So there's an easy way to program CVs, change things like addresses and things that way. So with that said, this is kind of a quick overview of how the Digitrax DCS52 system works. That's a Zephyr Express, and I hope you enjoy the tutorial. Let's wrap up with some final thoughts. Alright, so I know this video got very technical very quickly. We started with simple setup. Then we started to dive in some of the meat and potatoes, and not even close to all of the meat and potatoes in this system. But overall, it's a great system. Very easy to use. It's nice and backlit, as you remember me showing you with the decreased lighting here. You can run this in night ops or anything else. It can handle 3 amps, which is a decent amount for a good layout. And it's got a lot of functionality, including programming on the main, programming track, programming CVs, running locomotives, resetting locomotives, emergency stop features, etc. Again, a lot of stuff we didn't cover, but overall, it's pretty impressive to be able to take a DCC system out of the box, have it up and running in just a few minutes, and be able to figure out the manual pretty quickly. That shows you how user-friendly the system is. So if you're looking for the Digitrax DCS52, be sure to go to TrainWorld.com and check it out at the link below. And I've been James Wright here with you on TrainWorldTV. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.